We're in the midst of a new product explosion. Just head over to Amazon and search for anything. You'll find endless pages selling various versions of a product. Some are from companies offering multiple versions of the same item. Others are updated versions of older products. Some are brand new and groundbreaking, and many are just copies of what's already available. And that's just products. Now, do a quick Google search for a problem you have, and you'll find countless pages selling services that address it.
Please, no! No! No!
All of these products and services are designed to improve our lives in one way or another. Need something new for your diet? Need to learn more about it? Need an app to manage it? Need a place to exercise to support it? Need budget-friendly options? By the end of this video, you'll be able to describe the differences between a product and a service, the steps to launch a new product, and the many hurdles new products must navigate.
Here we go. Here we go.
To understand the unique characteristics of services, let's look at Punch Pizza, a popular restaurant in Minneapolis. We'll explore how Punch Pizza embodies the 4 unique characteristics of a service: intangibility, inseparability, inconsistency, and inventory. Services are intangible. At Punch Pizza, the dining experience is intangible. You can't touch or take home the ambience or the service. The value lies in the overall experience, from the welcoming atmosphere to the delicious food. Second, services are inseparable from their providers. At Punch Pizza, the food is prepared and served in real time. The chefs, the servers, and the overall environment are integral to the dining experience. You can't separate the service from the people who provide it. Third, services can be inconsistent. The experience at Punch Pizza might vary depending on the day, the chef, or even the server. One evening might be busier than another, and the quality of service can change with it. Finally, services can't be inventoried. Punch Pizza must manage its seating capacity and food supply carefully. They can't store tables or prepared meals for later use. They have to balance reservations and walk-ins with their available space and resources.
Now we're going to take a second and we're going to talk about the goal or the role of each product. So most of us always have the assumption that every product's goal is to make money, right? But to me, I like to think about a brand portfolio similar to a sports team. For those of you that are fans, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. We all know that everyone's role on a sports team is different. It's unique. Everyone's goal is not to just get baskets. Everyone's goal is not to throw the football or run the football or to score goals in hockey. Everyone has a different role. Some people play defense, some people play offense, some people are passing, etc., etc. It goes down the list. But the idea is everyone's role is different. And a product portfolio, this is exactly the same. So what you need to think about is, what is the actual role of this product? Why are we actually making this product? Of course, some of the products are to make money, but some of them have different roles. So we're going to take a quick second here and we're going to watch a short video from the Wall Street Journal talking about Target and their collaboration with luxury brands. So here we go.
Target's success is also strongly dependent on the items in its stores. At any given time, about 1/3 of Target's inventory is exclusive to the retailer through private labels. Similarly, designers will often partner with Target for a limited time capsule collection.
These capsule collections for Target are sort of marketing, right? It's a way to say, hey, we're high design. Big designers are interested in working with us, so it gives them a little bit of that cachet.
These collections are nearly as fundamental to Target as its bullseye logo. In the late 90s, top makeup artist Sonia Kashuk partnered with Target to create a professional makeup line at affordable prices. 16 years later, Target bought the line.
As you saw in the video, this is something that Target's been relying on for almost 20 years. These are called high-low collaborations. This is something that, like she said, it's marketing, right? So you think, what is the goal for a brand like Vineyard Vines, and what is the goal for Target to do this? They both sort of have unique goals. For Vineyard Vines, their purpose to do this is not to make money. Even though it sells out in a couple days potentially, they're not partnering with Target to make money. They're partnering with Target to open up sort of their customer base so that they can get exposure to all of Target's customers. For Target, the goal of this is to tell everyone, hey, look, we're at a place that we can partner with these high-end brands, and it gets people into the stores. It also separates them from their competitors. This is something that the other sort of big box stores don't do, so it makes them unique. The most important thing for Target, though, is this. Have you ever gone to Target and stuck to the list or only bought one thing? Probably not. If you're like me, when you go into Target, you walk in there with your mentality of getting one thing and you walk out with a cart full of stuff. So Target needs new ways to get you into the store. By using these collaborations, this is a way for them to get you into the store. So then you buy things besides the Vineyard Vines clothes. You also buy, toilet paper, paper towels, you buy your groceries, etc., etc. And this is how Target is using the role of this product, this collaboration or a high-low collaboration, to get you into the store, to bring up to elevate their brand. And it's sort of a win-win for everyone. So again, the purpose of the role of your product is something that is important to understand and to think about how it's going to fit into your portfolio.
Developing a new product involves several critical steps. Let's walk through the process of new product development using a simple example of creating a new pizza flavor for Punch Pizza. The first step is new product strategy development. Here, the team defines the direction and objectives for the new product. In our example, Punch Pizza aims to create a unique pizza flavor to stand out in the market. Next is idea generation, where team members brainstorm different concepts. Ideas like a spicy BBQ chicken pizza or a vegan cheese pizza are put on the table. In the idea screening phase, the team evaluates the brainstormed ideas, selecting those with the highest potential. Feasibility and customer interest play key roles in this selection. During business analysis, financial aspects are considered. The team analyzes ingredient costs and estimates the new pizza's selling price and potential profitability. Product development is where the new pizza flavor is brought to life. Chefs experiment and perfect the recipe, ensuring it meets the restaurant's quality standards. In the test marketing phase, the new pizza is introduced to a small segment of customers. Their feedback helps refine the product before a full launch. Finally, the product launch involves putting it on the menu and rolling out the new pizza flavor to all of its locations. The restaurant promotes it through marketing campaigns and social media to attract customers.
So now that you just listened to the steps of the new product development process, I have a question for you. Which step do you think is the most expensive and why? Which one is the most riskiest and why? It's the product launch. Do you know why? It's because you cannot take it back once you go out. Once you launch that product, there's no turning back. And so before I get into the details of explaining why it is, we're going to take a second and listen to the podcast on NPR, the How I Built This podcast. They actually interview the founders from Methods Soap, and they explain to you one of the mistakes that they made.
So I guess around 2008, you decide to branch out into personal care products. So what was the name of the label?
Block.
And you say that in a very matter-of-fact way. This was shower gel and hair shampoo and stuff like that?
The original idea was actually this really kind of beautiful organic shape, but it didn't stand up.
Shape of bottle?
Yeah, almost imagine like a seed. But we wanted to still keep that kind of object approach, and we ended up with square, and then it's like a plane crash. It's not one thing that goes wrong, it's like 10 things that go wrong. And
So
that's
what
exactly
went wrong?
that we did there. From kind of walking away from our core vision of it to not getting the tooling right. And one of it is we were always a little bit more conservative of, we believed in fail fast, right? So you get products out there, limited number of retailers, make sure it works, adjust, launch and learn. And everybody loved the design of it, so we went really broad.
Everyone said everyone's gonna have this in their bathtub, in their shower.
Costco loved it, grocery, everybody got behind it. And it essentially was nailed to the shelf and did not move. And it's expensive to launch a new product. It's really expensive to discontinue. Because when you see something on shelf that's being discounted for the store to get rid of it, the manufacturer is funding it.
Oh, man. So you just got rid of all this stuff? Like what happened to the excess stuff? Inventory?
Yeah, I mean, we ended up actually just recycling a whole bunch of bottles that
Do you still have it in
never
your
got
garage?
sold.
Like, do you still use it? Do you still use it again?
It's a great product.
Still
We
have
did hear
some.
some of it was sold to prisons.
Wow. So how big of a hit did you guys take on that? Did Method take?
You know, I don't remember exactly in dollar terms, but it was, it was in the low millions of, an investment that basically an amount of money we lit on fire. But the bigger thing, though, is just product failure is a reputational risk, and it's something that you need to recover from. The customers, meaning for us, a customer was a retailer. Yeah, they were not excited about that, and, something that you have to dig yourself out of.
So hopefully you enjoyed that quick clip. I think it's a fantastic clip, and it really drives home how expensive and how much of a risk it is to launch something that isn't ready to launch. And the reason is there's two huge ways you get sort of kind of crushed as a company once you launch if it turns out to be a failure. The first is the financial loss. Think about someone like Method Soap. They're in every single Target. They're in Costco. They're in stores after stores, grocery stores across the entire nation. That's thousands and thousands, tens, 20 of thousands of bottles that they have to produce to put on all of these shelves, right? So they get all of that done. They have to get the manufacturing ready, everything out there. If it doesn't sell, now what? You have to get rid of it. You either throw it away, you try to put it on discount. That's a huge loss. That doesn't include all of the years potentially put into the research and the development process. The second side is reputational. We all know that everyone only cares about the last thing that you did. If you do something bad, people always remember that. If you're a brand and you have all of this goodwill built and then you launch a product that fails, all of that goodwill is lost. And so the reason I share this with you is because going through this new product development process, once it becomes time to launch your product, it's really important that you've all sort of your ducks in a row and you do it right.
Even with the best marketing strategies, not all products succeed. Let's look at 3 common reasons why products fail using real-world examples. Insignificant differences, not satisfying a critical need, and too little market attractiveness. First, products can fail due to insignificant differences. On Amazon alone, there are millions of products available. However, only a small fraction, around 1%, generate over $500,000 in revenue annually. The vast majority fail to stand out because they don't offer significant differences from the market leaders. Without unique features or superior value, these products get lost in the crowded marketplace. Second, a product can fail if it doesn't satisfy a critical need. The Keurig Cold was designed to make cold beverages at home, but it was expensive and inconvenient compared to simply buying cold drinks or making them with existing methods. It failed to meet a critical consumer need and was discontinued. It failed so much that they refunded everyone all of their money. Lastly, a product can fail due to too little market attractiveness. 3D TVs were hyped as the next big thing in home entertainment, but the need for special glasses, weird glasses, and limited 3D content turned consumers away. Despite the initial excitement, these TVs failed to attract a large enough audience to be commercially viable.
So one of the trends we've noticed in today's marketplace is influencer-led brands. This isn't like before. These are brands that are started by the influencers. Think about the successful brands like Kim Kardashian's Skims, Logan Paul and KSI's Prime, or Mr. Beast Feastables. These influencer-led brands are changing the game. By leveraging their massive followings and direct engagement with fans, influencers can create products that resonate deeply with their audiences. Mark Andreessen, a prominent venture capitalist, supports this view, stating that celebrity-led brands from Kim Kardashian's Skims to Logan Paul's Prime are not gimmicks, but the future of consumer products. Influencers bring authenticity and a personal connection that traditional brands often lack. The direct line to consumers allows them to quickly adapt to the trends and feedback. This engagement fosters loyalty and drives sales. The success of Skims, Feastables, and Prime illustrates how powerful this model can be. By involving customers in the product development process and maintaining a strong presence on social media, these brands create a sense of community and belonging. The strategy not only boosts initial sales, but also ensures long-term customer retention. As businesses continue to evolve, the close collaboration between brands and their customers is set to define the future of consumer products. So as you can see from these influencer-led brands, the reason they work so well is they have the customers involved in the process. What this kind of comes up with is, it's called the collective customer commitment concept. What I mean by that is getting customers involved as much as possible. So if you think back to earlier in the video when we had the development process and we had all those steps in there, now I want you to think about how most of you probably do it at your companies, where most companies probably just have their the R&D team and their development team, and they go through step A all the way through step Z by themselves. But imagine this: if you took customers inside of the process, and after maybe every checkpoint or every other checkpoint, the customers participate in the process and they actually give a clear go or no go. So if the customers say no go, it's done. Why does this matter? The reason we want to get our customers involved as much as possible, and not actually involved in the sense they're doing it, but they're actually outside and neutral, is because of the sunk cost fallacy. So what I mean by that is this. To me, the perfect example is one that maybe you've experienced, and I'm sure if you haven't, you know someone who has. Have you or someone you know has ever dated someone, but they don't actually like the person? And then you say to them, why don't you break up with them? And they say, well, we've been dating for 2 years. I can't waste, I put so much time and energy into it. I can't leave now. Companies do the same thing. If they put months and months or maybe even years into a product, that's not only time and energy, that's also financial resources. They're going to see it through. So they kind of become blind to all of the negativity that potentially could be in the product because they don't want to just have wasted time. But customers, when they're involved in the process, they don't have the sunk cost fallacy. They're neutral to it. They have nothing to lose. So they're going to be honest and they're going to tell you what is good and what is not good. So hopefully, if the customers are involved, and if they give you a no-go, you end it, or if they just suggest changes, you stick with it. And then when you do come to the product launch, you can launch a product that's much more successful than what you previously would have launched. So this last one, don't tell anyone, I'm going to share this with you, but sometimes when we do product development, we don't rely on marketing. We rely on the engineers, we rely on R&D, we rely on what we already have. And Ford is a great example of this. Over the last 10 to 15 years, Ford has put a lot of energy to putting all of their cars to be produced on a limited number of platforms. And the reason they do this is to make it much more efficient.
Ford streamlined their production by reducing the number of platforms used across their vehicle lineup. By using fewer, more versatile platforms, they can produce a wider variety of models with shared components. The strategy not only cuts manufacturing costs, but also improves efficiency and flexibility in production. For instance, vehicles like the Ford Focus, sold outside of the US, the Ford Escape, and the Ford Bronco Sport share the same platform, allowing Ford to adapt quickly to market demands without significantly increasing costs.
So this video has been different than most of my videos. It's kind of a bit of here and there, and it's not the style of video that I always really strive to do, but sometimes you kind of have to do what you do. But what I want you to think about in this video, what is the goal? The goal is always comes back to market research. If you know who your customer is, you know everything there is to know about your customers, you know who your competitors are, you know the marketplace, you know the categories, you know everything there is, you can develop products that are going to solve problems for your customers. They're going to make your customers' lives better. And if you can do that, that's how you become a successful company, right? It's not about you, it's about your customer, making their lives better in some way. One other thing you do want to think about though when you're making your products, you want to think about, does my product have sort of like a moat around it? And what I mean by that is, how easy is it to be copied? You don't want to make a product that's really easy to be copied by the competitors, because you put a lot of time and energy into this new product development, and then as soon as you're done and you launch and it's a success, all of your competitors just copy it. So it is one thing to think about. It's a note. I kind of put like an asterisk on the side of that. But hopefully this is something you learn. Hopefully you have a better idea of the process of new product development, what goes into it, what separates a service from a product. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.